A warm welcome to TBC News. Our top stories tonight. Tanzania and Japan explore business opportunities.
We aim to increase agriculture production and become a major food producers of the world.
Africa in a new horizon.
Time is now. We must revolutionize our mind. We must mobilize ourselves. We must learn to listen from each other.
Good evening, I am Kanki Mwaigomole. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa says the government will keep up its efforts to link Tanzania business community with those from other nations such as Japan, so they may take advantage of the different prospects that the other nations provide. He made the remarks in Osaka, Japan, while opening a business, investment and tourism forum between Tanzania and Japan, themed Tanzania, a getaway for trade, investment and tourism. Rehema Sibabili, who is in Japan attending the Osaka Expo 2025, has more details.
Tanzania and Japan business communities have gathered here in Osaka, Japan, to explore business opportunities through various sectors, including agriculture, mining, tourism, and transportation. Addressing the forum, Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa stated that Tanzania has numerous opportunities in every area that are in line with its national development priorities as outlined in the National Development Vision 2050.
We aim to increase agriculture production and become a major food producers of the world. We aim to be an energy-sufficient country. We target to be a major logistic hub for Africa, to develop a stronger tourism sector, to have a technically skillful society, and a society that is healthy, well educated, with a long life expectancy and a growing political space, among others. On
his part, Japan's Deputy Foreign Minister has urged Japanese to use the opportunity to increase investment in Tanzania.
Of the two countries, distinguished people, to further strengthen the relationship between the two countries.
On the other hand, the Minister of Industry and Trade, Dr. Seleman Jafo, said Tanzania is ready to cooperate with Japanese business community through various sectors, especially in the value addition of agriculture.
Tanzania offers abundant natural opportunities for business and investment. Our aspiration from this forum is to see objective B2B discussion and negotiation that lead to a strategic partnership. We are expecting to see partnership in agro-processing, new investors in renewable energies, especially solar power.
Tanzania's vast, diverse investment opportunities, favorable business, climate, and the world-renowned tourism potential, but also to solidify the business relation between our two countries.
And be informed that Tanzania provides untapped opportunity for multiple sector on trade and service in segment of value addition, manufacturing, processing within Tanzania.
Alongside the forum, 6 cooperation agreements covering the energy, investment, healthy and education sector were signed between Tanzania and Japan, as well as the launch of the Zanzibar magazine containing information on the development achieved in the island, along with the investment opportunities available in the island. Reporting from Osaka, Japan, Rehema Swabili, TBC News.
As Africa Day was recently celebrated across the continent, we reflect not only on the history of struggle and resilience, but also on the role of today's youth play in shaping Africa's future. Teddy Mparanyanga has more details.
Africa Day marks the formation of the Organization of African Unity, now the African Union, a day to honor the struggles of the past and celebrate the progress of a continent rich in culture, talent, and determination. But beyond the celebrations, Africa's future lies in the hands of its youth, a generation that carries the hopes of a liberated, self-sufficient, and united continent.
We must unite to fight for a just cause, to liberate ourselves from the shackles, from the danger of poverty, and also from the danger of ignorance. We must take our country to the next level.
For many young Africans, these historical figures aren't just names in textbooks. They are role models whose courage continues to ignite ambition and pride.
Our former leaders like Julius Kambarage Nyerere, Kwame Nkrumah, and so on, they were fight to liberate us from colonialism, from dependence, and so on.
Their message is clear. Liberation is not just a chapter in Africa's past, but a mission that continues through innovation, education, and above all, patriotism.
To insist a sense of Pan-Africanism among of them, and a sense of patriotism to be a sense of unification of our country and the whole Africa.
Time is now. We must revolutionize our mind. We must mobilize ourselves. We must learn to listen from each other. And through that, we'll be able to bring about another revolution, which is the revolution of love, the revolution of science and technology, the revolution of our economy, the revolution of agriculture, and through that we'll be able to take charge of our own destiny as young people and as the next generation of leaders.
As Africa looks to the future, its greatest strength may well be the passion and potential of its young people, ready to rise, ready to lead, and ready to liberate the continent from the challenges it still faces. This Africa Day, the voices of the youth remind us that while the journey continues, the future is incapable.
In related news, African scholars and Pan-Africanists say for Africa to progress, it is important for the African Union to jointly coordinate resources available in Africa, closely monitoring them so that they can enable Africa to become a major economic power and self-reliant. Speaking during a panel discussion in Dar es Salaam involving the Minister of Information, Culture, Arts and Sports, Professor Palamagamba Kabudi and Professor Issa Shivji, emphasizing on African leaders' need to eradicate corruption and misappropriation of public funds so that African resources benefit the entire community.
What should AU do? One, coordination. Coordination. One of our main weaknesses is coordination. And another weakness of ours is monitoring and evaluation. We adopt a lot of resolutions, sign a lot of MOUs, and a lot of agreements. No plan of action, no monitoring, no evaluation. So for me, we need now, at the continental level, strong coordination, but also monitoring and evaluation, but also now building a culture of respecting our own resolutions, implementing them, following them up. And the approach of Africa for many years has been of competition instead of complementing our efforts.
What shall we say? Because the question of self-reliance. Of course, this meant, net result was that today, in my view, with some exceptions here and there, we are more dependent than we were at the time of independence. Forget the question of self-reliance. There's no self-reliance. We are in fact more dependent today than we were at the time of independence. To the extent that all that we said about the right to self-determination, okay, we literally squandered our self-determination. We hardly make our own decisions. Let's be frank and admit it. We don't need to be diplomats when we have such dialogue. We hardly make our own decisions. We are told to decide what alternatives to be given.
At the African Dinner Gala, the Vice President of Anglo Gold, who deals with African sustainability issues, Simon Shayo, stressed that it is important for investors coming to Africa to have projects that enable them to uplift and benefit citizens in Africa. In other news,
all investment that comes or seeks to come to Africa comes as investment to empower people and advance the people of Africa. Your Excellency, if I were to link this directly to our core values, 6 of which one is sustainability, we hope that in these conversations that are happening this week, we'll be able to inspire investors, businesses in particular, to look at their business in a manner that looks at the future of Africa, the future of the generations that are living today and the generations to come, which is one of our core values, sustainability.
The Chief Court Administrator, Professor Elisante Ole Gabriel, directs court accountants from the lowest level to the High Court to verify the accuracy of financial reports before submitting them to higher authorities so as to avoid audit queries and position the judiciary as a model of excellence in Africa. Professor Ole Gabriel issued the directive while opening a training session for court accountants from primary courts to the Court of Appeal held at the judiciary's headquarters in Dodoma.
3 main objectives of the training is to give our accountants the ability to understand the expansion of the modules in IPSAS. IPSAS stands for International Public Sector Accounting Standards. These standards keep on changing, and the Office of the Comptroller and Auditor General of Tanzania keeps on bringing the requirements of IPSAS to be complied to. And because they keep on changing, we thought in judiciary we have to give our accountants the opportunity to learn the changes happening. Our dream is to make judiciary a benchmark to other public institutions to see on how best we are complying to the requirements of IPSAS and IFRS. IFRS stands for International Financial Reporting Standards.
Furthermore, the Chief Court Administrator emphasizes the importance of continuous professional development for accountants.
Some of the modules which are now in need for improvement include issues of environment are now coming to the standards, human capital development, issues of sustainability, lease financing, and the like. And we thought is worthy investing to this very particular training. We are looking on the human capital development to our accountants.
Out of the 203 accountants in the judiciary of Tanzania are expected to undergo training, approximately 40 professionals have been trained in the first phase. Meanwhile, the African Union celebrated its anniversary at its headquarters in Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa. The celebrations were attended by various high-ranking officials from member states. Here are more details.
The African Union, which consists of 55 African countries as members, was established in the 1960s with the purpose of promoting unity and solidarity, as well as to eradicate all forms of colonialism on the continent. The anniversary was held under the theme, Revisiting Our History, Shaping Our Future. It reaffirms the commitment by the member states to Pan-African solidarity, resilience, and culture of intellectual revival of Africa.
I want to reaffirm the solidarity of the diplomatic corps with the African Union in their effort to obtain justice. We are resolute to accompany the open dialogue with international partners to combat all forms of discrimination and to support the African and Afro-descendant communities wherever they may be worldwide. Let us make this day a day of celebration of cultural wealth and the resilience of the African continent.
The head of UNESCO Liaison Office to Ethiopia, Rita Bisonut, says that this year's theme represents the rewriting of the historical narrative. She underscores that it empowers the African youth as well as reclaiming the ownership of identity in promoting a world based on truth and recognition.
In UNESCO, we believe that justice that is for reparation starts with knowledge about our history, dignity, and also the cultural sovereignty of African peoples. That is why, for over decades, we have been supporting Africa in its intellectual struggle, political struggle, and even spiritual struggle.
UNESCO also reaffirmed to work together with the African Union, not only as a partner of circumstance, but based on principles.
President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah of Namibia pays tribute to African heroes. Blanche Goreses reports from Namibia.
The head of state says these leaders kept the flame of freedom burning with pride, passing it to the current crop of leaders with its rays. Dr. Nandi-Ndaitwah paid tribute to the Pan-Africanist role of late founding President Nujoma, saying he inspired countless Africans through his deeds and acts. She noted that this was evident through Nuyoma's advocacy for Namibia to hoist the AU flag alongside its national flag and for Namibians to sing the AU anthem in harmony with the country's national anthem. The Namibian head of state stressed that such sentiments reflected the late founding president's belief that the vision for Africa must be grounded in the visionary aspirations of the four barriers and anchored in the principles of African unity. The theme for this year's Africa Day is Justice for Africans and the People of African Descent through Reparations. The president recognized the theme as relevant, saying the AU has actively supported initiatives aimed at advancing justice. The other is the facilitating of payment of reparations as well as the restitution of cultural artifacts and heritage pillaged during colonialism and enslavement. Nandi-Ndaitwah further emphasized that Namibian government continues its discussions with Germany in the pursuit of reparations and reparatory justice for the genocide committed between 1904 and 1908. She says the aim is to achieve a comprehensive resolution which adequately addresses Namibia's rightful claim for reparations and meets the needs of the affected communities. Furthermore, President Nandi-Ndaitwah also urged Africans to reflect on the continent's ambitions for socio-economic advancement. The adoption of Agenda 63 as Africa's development blueprint is significant, she says, adding that it led to the establishment of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA. Its aim is to crest a single market for Africa, enable free flow of goods and services, as well as to strengthen its position in the global economy. Dr. Nandi-Ndaitwah called on the business community to fully explore these opportunities in a statement marking the Africa Day.
African Union estimates the blue economy as a major contributor to the continent's income, creating millions of jobs and providing vital benefits such as food security, livelihoods, and biodiversity. Antonia Kivaria has more details.
In a groundbreaking step towards modernizing fisheries sector while preserving traditional livelihood, the Marine and Coastal Observation for Southern Africa and Indian Ocean Fisheries Exchange Workshop in Dar es Salaam gathers fishermen, scientists, policymakers, and tech innovators under one roof to connect traditional knowledge with cutting-edge digital solutions.
We have brought almost representatives from, or delegations from more than 9 countries who are here. And the main thing that we are doing here is to share experience in various fishing value chain or fish value chains that we do in the countries that are bordering the Indian Ocean, as well as the islands that are around the Indian Ocean.
The workshop featured live demonstration of GPS tracking system, mobile-based market platform, and electronic catch documentation. All those tools aim to increase fishers' income, enhance safety at sea, and support marine conservation. Dr. Ismael Kimirei, Director General of Tanzania Fisheries Research Institute, emphasized the strategic value of Africa's oceans territories.
This has multiple significance. One, we provided the information to the fishers so that they don't use most of their precious time looking for fish at sea. So they know where they are going to fish on that particular day. They can even estimate the amount of fuel they will need to get there. That way we cut down the cost of fishing.
Other stakeholders encouraged the urgency of ensuring that artisanal fisheries are not left behind in digital transformation.
It's to assist fishers to be able to make better decisions by giving them information around potential fishing zones, and then also met information, what the conditions are like at sea, where they're going to improve their safety, to improve their return times on the catch, and then also to connect them to a market where they can sell their fish and connect the market with the fishers.
So we come up with innovation in terms of app to help fishermen to identify potential fishing zone. That is where to fish to get reasonable catch.
The initiative aligning with the African Union Agenda of 2063, which envisions inclusive and sustainable growth for Africa driven by its own citizens and centered on responsible use of blue economy resources. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Antonia Kivaria, TBC News. Before concluding the local news tonight, let's have a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday. It's now time for the international news.
International news starts in America. Fed push for police reform in U.S. city of Minneapolis is casting a shadow on the 50th anniversary for the death of George Floyd. The killing of the black man by white police officer exposed racial inequalities, triggering month of protest in the United States and beyond. Floyd's family has been commemorating his life at a private service in Houston. Thousands of people across the U.S. are marking the 5th anniversary of Floyd's murder, including Minneapolis, where a white police officer direct shot him, not on his neck, even after Floyd gasped, "I can't breathe." This killing gathered out mad protest movement and demand for police reform after several high-profile police killings of black people. Meanwhile, Kremlin says comments about Russia's leader by U.S. President might be cause of, quote, an emotional overload. On Sunday, Donald Trump rebuked Vladimir Putin, saying he is going absolutely crazy after Russia launched a wave of strikes across Ukraine. Latin America, Venezuela's ruling Socialist Party has entered to its commanding majority to National Assembly in an election on Sunday when nearly 83% won the vote. That is according to the National Electoral Authority. Venezuela's head to the polls on Sunday to elect governors and members of National Assembly in an election the opposition called a shame. But the President Nicolas Maduro said the government dismantled a network whose aim was to sabotage the election. But the opposition said those detained were in the government laid were human rights activists, journalists, and members of the opposition, including Kwampa Owanipa, a close ally of opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, who boycotted the election. From America to Europe, Scientists are raising the alarm about the U.S. administration's cut funding for scientific research. Many fear they won't be able to collect data crucial to track climate change. Many Dutch universities are now set up, and even the word climate change have been removed by Trump's administration from government website. To protect this much as they can, Dutch universities are now creating a large data center. Scientists say decisions made in Washington are blaming the world for most urgent risks of our time. Data research meant to save people's lives and prepare the planet Earth for its coming a beam of loss, and the effects are fatal way beyond just climate research. Nevertheless, some spectacular pictures from Hawaii Volcano National Park. Kilauea is one of the world's most active volcanoes. It has been erupting on and off since December last year. Here you can see live pictures melting lava spewing from the tourist events. The Geological Service recorded lava fountains shooting over 300 meters into the sky.
And in sports, Africa Pickball President Kartik Kapoor says Tanzania has the chance to develop the game into different places in the country as the game attracts more fans. Speaking during the training of the Pickball and Pedal coaches at the Gymkhana tennis court in Dar es Salaam, President Kapoor reveals that Tanzania has many talented players of the game, saying what is needed is to develop their talents to international levels.
The first edition of the Tanzania Paddle Open. This is the first one that's ever happened here in Tanzania. Very proud to have about 150 players coming all over Africa. About 25 nationalities are represented here. So very proud to be hosting the first Tanzania Paddle Open here. Sport, you know, the idea is to, for both pickleball and paddle, is to grow the sport across Tanzania, to get more players, more Tanzanians playing, competing, and eventually competing on the international stage. We tried to bring as many players as we could from abroad to give us some competition for us to fight on the court, expose ourselves, and make sure that we create the next Tanzanian champions.
The Black Path Model Africa Director Atu John urges African models to build a habit of doing exercises to improve their mental and physical fitness all the time. John says the modeling sector aligns with doing exercises as models showcase their talents in runways.
We emphasize that even as models, it's very important for you to be able to take care of your body, to be in fitness. Because once you take care of your body, you are able to have stamina, you're able to have confidence. So it's a lot that is included that makes someone do better in the fashion industry. Even abroad, if you go abroad, most of the agency's requirement, number one requirement is that you have to be assigned at a gym. So in Tanzania, it's not there yet, but we hope this could be the start of telling people that it's important to take care of your body, to do fitness.
So when I'm going to the stage, I'm going to be very sharp, very relaxed, you know? Yes, so the exercise, to do exercise is very, 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 very important.
And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I'm Kanki Mwegomole. Good night.